Amy here, sharing with you how to create this adorable pop-up planter using our new planter die and Yucca Plant. The fun thing about this die is you can give it as a gift, or simply by omitting one of the pieces from the die, you can create a pop-up card that you can send in the mail as a little surprise. The pop-up die, when finished, fits in a 5x7 envelope, perfect for sending in the mail. What a fun little surprise to send to your friend to brighten their day. Now let me show you how easy this is to make. You'll want to start with the planter pot die and our Yucca Plant die. These coordinate to create the pot. Now we also have a fun little sentiment set that fits some of the greetings on the little tag. Now you'll want to start by cutting two of the top piece to create the base of the planter. Then that middle piece will create the dirt and the folding mechanism. That bottom hexagon is only intended for using if you're going to create a 3D planter that sits on a desk and doesn't go in the mail. If you want to use the tag, you'll die cut one of those. Okay, now we'll start folding along those score lines to create the planter, and then we'll need to use some tear tape to really secure those edges. You'll want to assemble these pieces together by lining that up on the flap. Add some adhesive to the other flap, set that aside, and then we'll begin folding along the score lines of the dirt/mechanism pieces. Now, because we're creating the actual pop-up planter, you won't need those little flaps at the bottom. I'm just going to secure those with some double stick tape, making it look tidy. Then continue to fold the other piece the same, securing that bottom flap so it's out of the way. Now when you're done with that, you have two pieces that when put together, you can see how they start to create that hexagon shape. Next, you want to make sure you secure the bottom of those together. So just by adding some double stick tape to the inside. Now when you remove the adhesive, you'll want to sandwich those together, making sure the flaps are facing outward. Now this is where you need to trust the process. We've got a little opening at the top, but I'll explain and show how that works. So now let's create that pot base by securing that edge, creating that hexagon shape. The easiest way to do this was setting it on a table, sliding that mechanism into place, making sure the base is lined up. Now I used liquid glue. I found it to be easier to maneuver and slide the piece into place. Now add that glue and slide it back in, making sure you push it all the way down so that bottom ledge hits the table. This will give you a tiny little ledge on the inside, and I used my bone folder to just really go up inside and make sure those edges were secure. Now you'll want to set that aside and let it dry. Once that is dry, you can push up from the bottom, and that will pop up the little dirt with that little opening, and that is where you're going to insert the plant. Now let's go ahead and take our Yucca plant and start assembling the pieces, just gluing a little bit at the very bottom. It's very easy to assemble, and you can mess around with different looks. You can also add 2 layers of this greenery and mix and match some darks and lights. It'd be fun to use pattern papers. So many different ways you could use this. You could ink it for a little bit more depth and dimension. Once you have this together, you simply want to hold it at the base and just really fluff those edges, pull them away from each other. And then at the top of that mechanism, we're going to add some glue. And I added a lot of glue. You're barely going to drop that bottom edge of the Yucca plant into the base, and you're going to hold that tight and make sure it's really glued. While that's drying, let's go ahead and take our little greeting and stamp it on the little tag. This little stamp set is the perfect accent for your planter. The stamp set comes with 8 little greetings, perfect for any occasion. You can simply add this to your pot by using the little flap on the back to slide it into the ledge, adding that cute little sentiment for the finishing touch. Next, I'm going to show you how to finish off that base if you don't want to send this in the mail. Simply start folding up all those edges of that hexagon shape, add some glue all the way around the edge. I found it was easiest to set this on a flat surface again, and then slide the walls of the planter around the base, and then pushing those flaps against the walls of the planter. You'll simply finish by assembling with the planter and the dirt as shown before. You can also decorate these planters with stripes and pattern paper and lots of little greetings, die cuts, and a little pick if you'd like. The perfect little gifts to send in the mail.